Take a breath before you listen to this. Not a rushed breath, a real one. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chest soften. If a name quietly surfaced in your mind just now, don't push it away. Don't analyze it, just notice it. Some people don't leave our lives loudly. They don't end things with final words or clean closures. They simply step out of reach. And yet, something about them never fully lets go. Time passes. You heal, you grow, you move forward. And still, every now and then, they return. Not physically, not with a message, but as a feeling, a softness, a familiar presence that doesn't hurt the way it used to. And that's important, because when a connection is unfinished, it doesn't scream for attention. It waits, it watches, it revisits you only when your heart is strong enough to feel it without breaking. This isn't about missing someone desperately. This isn't about longing or regret. This is about recognition. There are people who leave your life and fade naturally into the past. Their memory dulls. Their name loses weight. They become part of who you used to be. And then there are people who leave, but never truly go, no matter how much time passes, no matter how many new chapters you begin, no matter how healed you become. Something about them stays unfinished. You don't think about them every day. But when you do, it feels different now. Quieter, deeper, almost peaceful. That's not weakness. That's not attachment. That's your heart acknowledging something it once had to release before it could understand. Not every goodbye was meant to be permanent. Some goodbyes are pauses. Some are protection. Some are space, given not to end a connection, but to let both people grow into the kind of selves that could meet again without destroying each other. If you've ever wondered why one person still feels different, why their memories softened instead of faded, why thinking of them now doesn't hurt the way it used to, stay with me. Because when someone is meant to return to your life, the signs don't arrive dramatically. They don't demand your attention. They don't shake your world. They whisper. They show up when your life is calm, when your heart is no longer desperate, when you're no longer trying to prove, chase, or fix anything. They appear when you're finally strong enough to meet them without losing yourself again. And that's the part most people don't understand. Reconnection doesn't happen when you're waiting. It doesn't happen when you're broken. It doesn't happen when you still need someone to fill a space inside you. It happens when you're whole. When your heart is quiet, not aching. When your memories don't trigger pain, only understanding. When the thought of seeing them again doesn't cause anxiety, but calm. That calm matters more than excitement ever could. Because intensity is often trauma talking. But calm is safety. If the idea of them returning feels grounded instead of overwhelming, it doesn't mean you want them back. It means your heart trusts itself now, and hearts don't trust easily after they've been hurt. Sometimes people don't return because the timing is wrong. Not because the connection wasn't real, but because you weren't ready to meet each other without repeating the same wounds. Growth happens quietly. You learn your boundaries. You learn your worth. You stop abandoning yourself for connection. You stop needing someone to save you. And only then does life begin to move old connections back into alignment. Not to repeat the past, but to see if you can meet again with wisdom instead of wounds. If someone has been circling your thoughts gently, without pain, without urgency, without longing that drains you, that's not nostalgia. That's your heart asking a quiet question. Can you hold this differently now? Because life doesn't bring people back to fix what was broken. It brings them back only when both people are capable of building something honest. And if you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. Some messages find us only when we're ready to hear them. In the next moments, I'm going to share 7 signs that reveal when someone isn't just drifting back into your awareness, but returning on purpose. Not loudly, not dramatically, but gently, exactly the way real connections always do. Sign 1. They return to your thoughts when your heart is quiet, not when you're busy, not when you're distracted, but when everything inside you finally goes still. Late at night, early in the morning, in moments you didn't plan, they return gently, like a presence that never asked for permission to stay. You might wonder why now? Why after healing? Why after time? Why after you thought you were done? If someone is meant to re-enter your life, they don't show up in chaos. They show up in calm. When your heart is no longer desperate, when your wounds aren't bleeding anymore, when you're strong enough to remember them without falling apart. This isn't longing, it's recognition. Memories that return without pain aren't trying to reopen wounds. They're checking if the door is unlocked. And if thinking of them feels softer now, clearer, more grounded, that's not coincidence. That's the first sign. Sometimes people return to your thoughts, not because you miss who they were, but because you're finally ready for who you both have become. Sign 2. Life creates small, impossible coincidences around them. You're not searching, you're not asking for signs, and yet they keep appearing. Their name comes up in unrelated conversations. A song reminds you of something you thought you'd forgotten. A place, a date, a small detail points back to them quietly. These aren't loud miracles, they're gentle alignments. When someone is meant to re-enter your life, reality nudges you instead of forcing you. Just enough to make you pause and think, that's strange. And the strange part isn't that they appear. It's how natural it feels when they do. Your heart doesn't race with anxiety anymore. It doesn't ache the way it once did. It simply notices. Life doesn't repeat patterns to trap you. It repeats them to see if you've grown. If the reminders feel gentle instead of painful, if they spark curiosity instead of fear, that's a sign the connection is being reintroduced carefully, deliberately, and on time. Sign 3. The pain has softened into understanding. There was a time when thinking about them hurt. Your chest tightened, your thoughts spiraled. The wounds spoke louder than the memories, but now it's different. What once felt sharp feels quiet. What once felt heavy feels reflective. When someone is meant to re-enter your life, the pain attached to them transforms before they do. You stop replaying what went wrong and start understanding why it happened. The anger fades. The blame loosens. Clarity takes its place. You don't excuse the past. You understand it. If you can think about them now without needing closure, without craving an apology, without wishing things were different, your heart has healed enough to meet them again, not as who you were, but as who you've become. Sign 4. You've stopped trying to control the outcome. There was a time when you wanted answers, a message, a sign, a clear ending or a clear return. Now you don't chase either. You're no longer forcing a reunion. You're no longer afraid of one. You've released control. When someone is meant to re-enter your life, control dissolves before connection returns. You trust without waiting. You allow without attachment. That neutrality isn't indifference, it's readiness. Real alignment doesn't come from wanting something badly. It comes from being able to receive it without losing yourself. Sign 5. You feel calm at the thought of seeing them again. Imagine running into them unexpectedly, or seeing their name appear on your phone, and instead of panic, you feel steady. When someone isn't meant to return, your body braces. But when they are, your nervous system relaxes first. Calm is your body saying, I'm safe now. True reconnections don't begin with intensity. They begin with safety. Sometimes the clearest sign isn't excitement, it's peace. Sign 6. You're no longer the person who let them go. You've changed quietly. In ways that matter, you understand your boundaries. You know what you deserve. You don't abandon yourself anymore. When someone is meant to re-enter your life, They don't return to the old version of you. They return to someone wiser, steadier, more rooted. Life doesn't bring people back until you can meet them without losing yourself again. Sign 7. You're ready to meet them as an equal, not a need. You don't see them as a rescue. You don't need them to complete you. You feel whole. From that wholeness, you're ready to meet them eye to eye, soul to soul, by choice, not longing. You're capable of saying yes, and just as capable of saying no. That balance is rare, and it's exactly what makes reconnection possible. If this message stayed with you until the end, trust that it found you at the right time. Not everyone who leaves is meant to return. But those who are meant to return don't come back to chaos. They come back to clarity. And whether they return or not, you've already gained something more important. You. Before you go, pause and write this in the comments. If it's meant to return, let it return gently. Or simply, I'm ready, no matter what. Sometimes the real sign isn't who comes back. It's who you've become. Before you go, pause for one last breath. If this message found you at the right time, don't rush away from it. Write in the comments, I'm ready no matter what. Not as a promise, not as a wish, but as a quiet truth. And if this space feels familiar to your heart, stay with us. This is pure wisdom, where healing isn't rushed and clarity returns gently. Some connections don't come back loudly. They come back when you're ready. Until next time, save this for the moment you need it again. Share it with someone who understands. This is pure wisdom.